Good evening, America. I'm coming to you to talk about all this sniveling that I'm hearing about from you, about you don't feel good, that you're on thin ice financially, that you're one bad emergency event away from being broke financially for good. You know what, America? You make $125,000 a year. Go shop at Dollar Tree and deal with it. That's what we're being told right now, folks. We're being told through one single myopic lens that, hey, everybody, look at the unemployment rate. It's 3.7%, so you should feel great, which is alarmingly interesting because everywhere that everybody look and everywhere that polling is taken, people have a dim look on the economy. What the heck? And you know what we're told? We should really check ourselves because you know what? The economy's roaring. The more I dig in, the more I realize is that most of our news media makes singular snap judgments on how most Americans are doing based on single instances of data. They will take one piece. They will simply say the unemployment rate is low, so everybody must be doing fine. They can't do simple math. They can't take a preponderance of the entire thing and figure out that maybe, just maybe, they should ask a few more questions. Like, hey, I know you're employed. I was told the unemployment rate is low and that everybody has a job. Mr. Journalist, you might find the person you ask the question to is going to say, yeah, I have a job. I have 4 jobs. Because if I don't work that hard, I will be broke. And I am broke.
Change is coming, my fellow Americans. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Now, folks, all this sadly brings me to my first story and more of an example of what I want to say about this particular topic, which is the fact that we don't go far enough in the data. The Wall Street Journal just broke this story that said rents come down for the wealthy while rising for the rest. Oh, that's exciting. The article goes on to say, landlords are slashing rents this year. Most renters won't save a dime. Isn't that fascinating? Remember last year when we were saying, oh, the economy's doing great. We should really start raising rates and we should really let things get really roaring again, right? Lo and behold, yes, we had rents come down, but when they dug deep down, they realized that everybody that was in a category called renters by necessity, that is where everybody kind of lives, it's the middle class. It's where people are renting the little 3-bedroom properties or single family or an apartment, those kinds of things. They realized that in some cities, they still got their rent jacked up by 5 to 10% last year. And across the entire nation was up a couple percent at best. But you know what they reported on the national? They reported it was really flat, like it didn't go up at all. Look at this article, folks. At penthouse apartments and sprawling single family homes, property owners are offering big discounts and move-in deals to keep units full. These price cuts follow the largest wave of apartment construction in decades, which is a good thing, folks. Depending on where you are in the country, you're going to see thousands upon thousands of apartments released. I know here in Central Florida, particular parts of Florida, many more apartments coming, which is going to have a downward pressure, we hope. Although in this economy, it's so good, the price of everything just keeps going up. You can't afford a house, yet they're magically still going up in value. But listen to this. Houses in Austin that rented for $5,000 to $8,000 a month now lease for as much as 20% off. In Chicago, some amenity-packed apartment towers with a new building smell offer months of free rent. Now, folks, look at this. Middle market rents rose most in Midwest and Northeast cities. Kansas City, Missouri, Indianapolis, Chicago, and Philadelphia, rents increased between 3 to 6% compared with a year ago. You have all these stories buried in this article, like Tamika Doolin, who was an employee career services near Kansas City, Missouri, plans to move. She's living in a house that was renting for $1,650 a month, jacked her rent to $2,050 a month in just 2 years. Look at this, folks, even worse. Other renters are adjusting to a rising market with more unconventional moves. In Providence, Rhode Island, folks, listen to this. In Providence, Rhode Island, a massage therapist, Toodles Facenda, is temporarily living in her converted van after the landlord decided to sell the 2-bedroom that she rented. She had paid less than $1,200 a month there. Check it out. Rents in Providence are up almost 6%. Facenda is considering possibly moving in March, where there's typically more apartment listings. For now, she finds there's little that meets her target budget. Look at this, folks. Her target budget, $1,400 a month, which is 30% of her income. 30% of her income. That's all. She makes $4,200 a month if you work that math, which means she makes right around $50,000 a year. She's living in a van in Providence, Rhode Island. Folks, you know how cold it is in Providence? I don't know how cold it is. It's colder than Florida. So folks, this couples to the idea of what I've been saying on this channel for a bit. People across America are going cross-eyed when looking at CNBC or Fox Business. And they're saying, oh, the economy's roaring, you must be doing fantastic. And our government and the journalists alone look back at America cross-eyed when America's like, dude, I'm struggling. I can't make it. I'm living in a freaking van. And then they watch the news and they see massive tent cities that go on for miles in New York, where if you sneak across the southern border, you somehow get 3 hots and a cot just for breaking your way into America. And folks, this is becoming problematic for people. People see this. People know we're dumping boatloads of money. Our budgets aren't balanced. All of this is a concern for each one of us, and it's felt no matter how much money you make. You can make $50,000 or $200,000. Let me illustrate what I'm saying. Just out today, folks, in the Wall Street Journal, why Americans are so down on a strong economy. You dumb dullards, can't you tell how good you have it? Yeah, I know a cart of groceries costs you 3 times as much as it used to. Deal with it, buddy. You got 20% in raise over the past few years. The gaslighting is outrageous. It's simple math. Most people didn't make money to keep up with everything, and it's still expensive. Sheesh. The article is baffling to me. The disconnect between those in the media and those on the ground. I almost need to read this in the right context. The broad reasons for Americans' dim outlook suggest that even the further improvement in the economy might not be enough to lighten these dumb peasants' mood. In election year, the nation's mood, the mood of the peasants, is the biggest impediment to President Biden's winning a second term. He's received little credit so far from an economy that has foiled predictions. I mean, don't you feel so good, peasants? It's doing fantastic. You can't afford a house. You barely can afford a rent. You moved into a van, you stupid peasant. But you should feel good because Bidenomics is great. And don't go cry in my comments because I say Biden's name on a video. You're not going to find me a fan of the Republicans either. Is everybody happy? The article goes on. Interviews with Americans across the country, some affluent, some just scraping by, and some with advanced degrees, others with blue-collar jobs, some Republican, Democrat. They're weighed down in an unpredictable world in which no one in government or business is competent to steer the nation through precarious times. No, how about we think you're all doing crazy stuff, and no matter what, you do it anyways. One of the respondents says, you could argue 3.7% is great unemployment rate, but who cares with this level of uncertainty? Because that's what most people are feeling. They're not feeling hope. They're not feeling one country. They're feeling a divisive, divided United States of America. Make this guy a politician. This couple, the Fosters, estimates her family net worth is up because of their home value. Shocking. They're in suburban Albany, New York, has risen around 20% since the pandemic started. But every time I go to the store, I'm in shock by the prices. Who earns more than $200,000 a year along with their husband's income? I feel like we're on really thin ice. It's like it's fragile. Like either party has any theoretical foundation for what they want to do with the economy. Oh, I think they do, but I don't think they really want you to know where it goes from here. Foster 57, who earns a master's degree on GI Bill and works part-time at a nonprofit while her husband works full-time in human resources. Listen to this. To her, the notion that cooling inflation should ease her financial worries is akin to telling a person who is bleeding out that the flow of blood has slowed. That's it. That's dead on, folks. You aren't trying to bring down the pace of prices. You actually have to dent and reverse the high cost of rent. These people make $200,000 a year, and people cannot keep up with the cost of things. They can't. I was telling a story yesterday about how the CEO at Dollar Tree says the fastest growing consumer segment that they have at Dollar Tree is $125,000 plus wage earning families. 6-figure earner families are now the biggest base of growth for Dollar Tree. Why? Because crap is expensive. And folks, we're in trouble. So every time you sit here and you listen to this baloney narrative, which is only done, really, this is pushed hard because it's election year. This is gaslighting you. This is saying, forget how you feel. Everything is fine. You're not in touch with your inner self if you don't see it. Bull crap. We should be irate by this because we were fleeced and our government's still spinning out of control. That's why they're doing this nonsense with these bills. You see this thing that's happening in Texas, right? We're all seeing this rollout of media about this border and there's this big showdown. And now out of this supposed showdown, which I don't believe from either side, I'm having a hard time buying it on the Texas side and the federal government side. I think this is all theater because here's what's happening next. We need a bill so that we can fix the border, which is bullcrap. Folks, listen, watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. So what is the bill they roll out? It's a $120 billion bill, which only $20 billion goes to the border, $60 billion goes to Ukraine, and $14 billion goes to Israel. So here's the deal. We're being sold on one thing. The bill's even called flipping the border bill or whatever. And it has nothing to do with it. It's a fraction going to the border. And honestly, if they want to solve the border problem, they wouldn't just pass a bill. They do more than that. It's crazy, folks. They know we're all weary. We're weary. We're like financially, what is going on? Like, how do we have money to house all these people? We're watching the people in New York, which, by the way, New York is left. It's left. This is a Democrat mayor in New York that's going through and scrounging for pennies under the sofa because he's pulling it away from his own local New York base to take care of all these other people that are just being allowed to flood through the South. And folks, there's photographic evidence. There's miles of tent cities being built with big air conditioner systems, 3 hots and a cot for people that are streaming in. Yet we have people in many of our states that are in homelessness situations. Everybody can see it. And folks, stop with the drama on politics. Stop. For those of you that are going to say, well, Jared, you went to the politics side. I'm just really here for the real estate. I didn't go after any side. I'm unhappy with both parties. So if that makes you feel better, great. We already know you can't fool Americans. They can see what's going on. Just own it already. If we'd all get on the same page, this crap would end. The fact that we're so divided is the real problem because we're selling our future down the river. And I think a lot of this weird tension is because we sit there bottled up like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't say anything. I can't share anything with my neighbor. But it is really sad. And hopefully we stand together as one and there's some changes in this country that bring back the hope of an American dream. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Thanks for watching.